so far, all the problems that we were solving by completing the square had a b term that was even. So when we took our b term and divided it by 2, we were always working with an integer as part of our solution. So every single example we did, positive b terms. So now what we're going to do is work on solving quadratic equations using completing the square, but our b term is going to be odd. Remember, to solve quadratic equations by completing the square, we have to be in this form of x squared plus bx equals c, and then we're going to build our perfect square trinomial. So we're up to these examples. I'll work on some. You guys can watch these videos in order to hear the process. So first thing we got to notice is that we're not in that x squared plus bx equals c form. So for this one, we're going to have to add 55 to each side and also subtract 5x. That is going to leave us with x squared minus 5x, and then just leave a little bit of room for completing the square. And then we've got 55 on the right side. Next, to complete the square, we're going to take half of our b term, so negative 5. We're going to divide that in half, and then we're going to square that. Negative 5 over 2 squared is going to make 25 over 4. So plus 25 over 4 to both sides. That will create a perfect square trinomial. Next, we have to factor, and if you did show the workout on the side over here, it kind of helps with factoring. We have x minus 5 over 2 squared equals, and then for these ones, we probably want to have a calculator handy. So if you're using Desmos, 55 plus 25 over 4. Desmos will give you a decimal answer, and then all you have to do is press this little fraction off to the side by this number 1, and that will turn that decimal into a fraction. So 245 over 4 would be the fraction that we want to use. Next is just like we've been working on, we're going to take the square root of both sides. We end up with x minus 5 over 2 equals, we took the square root, so we have plus or minus. And then here we have to break down 245, so we have to find the biggest perfect square that divides in. So 49 goes in, 49 times 5. So the square root is going to break down into 7 square root of 5 over. And then we're also taking the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. One last step, we have to add 5 over 2 to each side. So we have 5 over 2 plus or minus 7 square root of 5 over 2. So each example we're going to have on this set of examples is going to have an odd b term. So we're going to be working a lot with fractions. Our calculator is going to be very helpful. In example 2, again, we've got to get this into that x squared plus bx equals c form. So we will subtract 9x both sides, and then subtract 86 both sides. This is going to leave us with x squared minus 19x. Just leave yourself a little space to make that perfect square trinomial. And negative 8 minus 86 is negative 94. Then to complete the square, we're going to take our b term, negative 19, divide that by 2, and square it. Negative 19 over 2 squared is a positive 361 over 4. So we're going to add that to both sides. Then we factor. This is going to factor to x minus 19 over 2 squared. And then again, Desmos is going to be very helpful. Negative 94 plus 361 over 4. We're definitely going to go to our calculators for that. So in our calculator, negative 94. On Desmos, you just use the minus sign for negative, and then plus 361 divided by 4. And then you're pressing this little fraction button, get negative 15 over 4. We're going to take the square root of each side. That leaves us with x minus 19 over 2 equals plus or minus, because we took the square root. The square root of 15, that can't be broken down. It's just 5 times 3 or 1 times 15, so no perfect square goes in. We can take an I to the outside. So we have I squared of 15 over, and then square root of 4 is 2. One last step, we got to get x by itself. So adding 19 over 2 to both sides gets us positive 19 over 2 plus or minus I square root of 15 over 2.